Dear friend, thank you for your everlasting support to my channel. When it comes to listening, all you need to know is the technique used for different kind of questions. Because we look here, we have a lot of different kind of books which explaining the listening. Today we're going to continue with our subject. We took understanding organization. Today we're going to have connecting the content. And then next lecture will be making inferences. For example, TOEFL listening question about the main topic, which is going to be like this. And this kind of question, pay close attention to these questions prompts. We have to know the type of the question. For example, we have two students, student 1, and then we have also student 2. There is conversation between the two talking about a subject. For example, let's say here, a student 1 asking favor or asking question from his friend. Can you give me some tips about how to write a good paragraph? Okay, now we know the subject is how to write a good paragraph. Student 2, to write a good paragraph, there are some criteria which has to be followed. First, every paragraph has to start with a topic sentences which contains a thesis statement. This is important to know. Then having a well-developed body paragraph supporting the thesis statement is a crucial aspect of a well-written paragraph. Finally, summing up the points being mentioned in the body paragraph in supporting the thesis statement, and reinstate the thesis statement in a different wording to conclude the writing is an important aspect of in a well-written paragraph. Now we have a question, for example, narrator is going to give us a question and then we look for the answer. Then it says here, what are the students mainly talking about? We know they're talking about how to write a good paragraph, but let's go to the answer here. The answer, it says writing a good paragraph. Okay. Now we know how the question, technique of the question, it works. For example, could be the signals for the question could be like this. What is the main topic the speaker is discussing? Or what is the conversation mainly about? What are the speakers mainly talking about? What is the subject the two speakers discussing? What is the topic of the lecture being presented? You see here, this is the prompt of the question. When we have those kind of questions, then we know what we're looking for. It's known that every academic passage has a topic and a thesis statement. Sometimes you call them writer's position, whether agreeing or disagree. Maybe something, then the writer has to explain his position or her position. That is positioned in the passage's introduction. Now we know where we're looking for the position of the writer or the speaker. It's important to make an outline of the important information about the introduction and the conclusion of the lecture because the main topic is usually introduced in the introduction and repeated in the conclusion in a paragraph form. Usually, the speaker might use these phrases to introduce the topic of the lecture by saying. Now we know how the speaker will introduce the topic. For example, maybe he's going to say, today we are going to speak about that. Then they give us the topic, they continue. Or maybe going to say as, or she's going to say, as I explained at the beginning of my lecture today, that, and continue the whole, give us the topic of the lecture. My lecture is about, just directly to the subject. Nowadays, many scholars will argue that then present as the lecture or the topic of the lecture. It is recommended to write down the information, follow these phrases, or sometimes say the phrases, these phrases that introduce or summarize the main points of the lecture. Here it's very important to know, for example, when we have those kind of phrases or these phrases, then we know the lecture is coming. How are we going to answer this kind of question? We have a strategy. In a strategy, We say first, read your note at first before looking at the answer choices. The note we made it when the speaker introducing the lecture. Number two, making a guess after understanding the question prompt. Number three, eliminate the wrong answer choices prior to selecting the correct choice or best answer. Because when we eliminate, for example, let's say we have four, usually we have 1, 2, 3, 4, then we eliminate one, for example, otherwise it's gonna stay 3. And then from the 3 also we could eliminate the second one, then we're gonna end it up by 2. And then from the 2 they are close, then we have to make our decision. Thank you very much.